Q&A session started.
Perhaps we should be whistling here or something. We'll begin shortly.
Welcome to Saturdays with Tara. I'm Mary Beth at the Law of Attraction Club on the web at theloaclub.com. Remember, if you have questions on the conference line, to press *6. This Hangout on Air, if you're on the Hangout on Air, is the introduction to our theme of the week. All of this is also being simulcast on our conference line, and we'll continue on the conference line with more discussion and Q&A after the Hangout. You're welcome to join us. Use the number on your screen. Robin will be bringing through Tara for us today. So welcome Tara and Robin. Over to you.
Let's start today then on this subject of impossibility with some words from the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical Cinderella. Impossible. Impossible for a plain yellow pumpkin to become a golden carriage. Impossible for a plain country bumpkin and a prince to join in marriage. And 4 white mice will never be 4 white horses. Such folderol and fiddly-dee of course is impossible. But the world is full of zanies and fools who don't believe in sensible rules and won't believe what sensible people say. And because these daft and dewy-eyed dopes keep building up impossible hopes, impossible things are happening every day. By law of attraction, there's nothing you cannot be, do, or have. In other words, beyond the essential nature of who you are, a consciousness that's part of the all that is, there's truly nothing that's fundamentally impossible. So let's spend a little time here to reflect on that, because each second you spend challenging the status quo, each moment here with us that you acknowledge through conscious awareness the truth of who you are, these moments are powerful steps on the path to creating more of what you want. Here's some poetry of our own. Impossible. There's just some things you cannot do is what they always said. So see the world, accept the truth and keep a level head. Some things are impossible. It's just the way they are. It's sensible and practical to know what's near and far. Or could it be that it's a choice? Indeed it is, we say. Listen to your inner voice and pick another way. Because you're the one who chose this life, and everything you see is what you've come to know as truth and possibility. So probable, improbable, it's up to you to choose. We say choose not to walk through life in someone else's shoes. Possible, impossible, the world is at your feet. What you know creates it all and everyone you meet. And on the subject of what's possible, from our friend Bashar, every being, all beings in creation, are all the different ways God has of looking at itself. That is what it means to be all that is. The idea of knowing yourself to be God is simply allowing yourself the broadest possible definition of that concept, and knowing that for God, that is real. God knows itself to be its own being, but also knows itself to be the compilation of every being within it, and knows every being within it to contain the totality of the whole. Nothing is impossible to all that is. If you can conceive of it, it is real to all that is. On some level, some dimension, some aspect of consciousness, it exists. We've talked before of the fact that all chosen beliefs come with their own life support system. Because, of course, by law of attraction, once a choice is made, everything in your world lines up with it. Now, that's a simple statement to make, but think about it. Think about the enormity of it. Anything you choose to believe will, by definition, be correct. It will be the truth. Of course, it's a personal choice, and so it's your truth. But in your world, your truth is the truth, because those personal belief choices of yours are what creates it. Into that world, you attract versions of people and events and things, everything that lines up with those choices. And we'll come back to more on this shortly. And so that's how it is your choices are self-reinforcing. As you practice the version of that choice over and over and over, you forget all about that original choice you made. Are you beginning to get a sense of the power of that tapestry of expectations of yours? Are you beginning to see why, once a choice is made, it takes a special sort of focus to make a different choice? This one was talking this week with Jeff, one of those he regularly sees on his morning walks. Jeff declared there was very little he was certain about. But with just a little exploration, it was obvious that, of course, there was a multitude of so-called certainties in Jeff's world. It's just that with Jeff, as for all of you, those certainties fade as decisions and merge into the backdrop of your existence. So let's, for a short time here, look at these things in your backdrop and see them for what they are. Everything that's possible, probable, or improbable, and the millions of certainties and impossibilities that make up your expectation tapestry, these are just the decisions you've made and stored away. If you're the curious type, you can push and prod and probe at the world to uncover the facts about what is. But studying reality to see the way it works is like studying the stew you just cooked to find out what you put into it. It can, of course, be fun to play that game. It's a lifetime quest for some. But here's what can be even more fun: creating something new. Experiencing life is like tasting that stew. If it didn't turn out quite like you wanted, don't blame the stove. Change the recipe. In life, don't blame people or things or circumstances for what you don't like. The real fun is changing the thoughts that created it that way in the first place. Never see or hear the words, "studies have shown," without recognizing that choosing to believe those studies is simply you filling in more details in a world you've already created. There's nothing in your world you don't know about. There can't be, because you and you alone are creating it. If you do fill in some details, it will always be between the lines, the possibility outlines of the sketch you've already made. Once again, more on this shortly. We've also talked before about the apparent realness of that current matching virtual reality you're in. You can make a new choice, you can imagine a new reality, but it doesn't seem as real yet as the one you seem to be in because you haven't yet stepped into full alignment with it. Once you do align with it, it will manifest and become your new, now real, most real world. It's a new version of you and a new version of your matching context. Of course, you're doing this new version creation all the time. Each moment of now is like the still picture that makes up every frame of a movie. Unless the camera stops and restarts from a new viewpoint or the beginning of a new scene, the changes are sufficiently small that there seems to be no break in the flow. It's continuous, and so you don't recognize it as a new version, but it is. And as in a movie, switching to a new viewpoint is possible. Big changes are possible. It takes a new decision, and it takes focus. Big changes take big focus, but they're possible. Old decisions don't make things so forever, unless you leave them as they were made. What is doesn't prove decisions were right. What is results from those decisions. The cure for what is itis, the Abraham term for being stuck in that old reality, is revisiting those decisions, seeing them for what they are and changing them. That's what we're doing here. We're encouraging you to focus some attention on that tapestry of possible and impossible expectations of yours. See it for what it is and change what you want to change. From our friends Abraham. Does it feel possible or impossible? Which is it? It's not both, and you get to choose what it is and line up with the one you choose. Human logic says if it hasn't manifested, it won't manifest. But if this time-space reality has the wherewithal to inspire the desire within you, it has the wherewithal to deliver it in full fruition. You can take pleasure from the having of it even before you have it. You can be so not bound up in the having of it, so at one with the knowledge that it's coming, that there's no absence of its vibration anywhere within you. Not longing for it, not yearning for it, not suffering for it, not pleading for it. You simply like knowing you want it. Last week we talked of where's my stuff? The question that expresses your doubts and misgivings. If that's your dominant question, then we say get off it. Go distract yourself. Choose to be detached from dependence on any particular outcome. But we want you to move more and more into the confidence of knowing who you are and how you create everything around you. In that place, you can get into that eager anticipation that Abraham is talking about. This is the place of peace and power, fun and freedom, which we never get tired of talking about. This is the playground you came here to play in. Let's play.
This hangout on air was to introduce our theme for the week. Our longer discussion continues right now on our conference line. You're welcome to join us. Bring your questions and comments, and remember to press *6.